I'm nervous. We build models. That's how we understand the world. It's our frame of reference. Without our models, we wouldn't know how to see anything, and frequently we can't see things that are not in our models. We take the world and divide it up into neat little categories that seem whole and complete with clear black and white boundaries between them, and we ignore the little gray parts that, just don't exist. And we do the same thing to ourselves. I am a set of labels. I am a set of group memberships. I am a set of categories. I am these things. They allow me to create a kind of index that lets me place myself in the world, in my model of the world, relative to everything else. It gives me a comforting feeling, These things are true about me, and thus I feel good about myself and the world. It's a kind of self-myth that allows you to not get lost. And it's very important, because without it, you couldn't really orient yourselves. Without your self-model, you wouldn't know how far to reach to open a door, and you wouldn't know what that snide remark someone made in the coffee shop meant. But at the same time, they are built on truths that are not necessarily complete and accurate, because there are little messy bits below that surface themselves in ways that frequently I don't even see. I can't see. And the way they're built allow you to sort of gloss over facts about yourself. Like when someone wants to have diversity in the workplace, and yet they're always surrounded by people who look just like them. Other people can't see you, they see what you present. You cannot see yourself because you only see what you present to yourself. And people go to extreme lengths to defend their external identities that they present to the world, and we go to extreme lengths to preserve our internal identities that we present to ourselves by ignoring, denying, or suppressing the little bits that don't fit. What happens when someone points out something to you about yourself that doesn't fit your model of who you are? What happens to me is I frequently say things like, oh, that didn't really happen, I didn't really say that. That's not the case. I explain it away, I rationalize it. We have an extreme need to rationalize who we believe ourselves to be with what we actually end up doing. And that drives us to frequently suppress not just ourselves, but each other. It's not just that it's hard to see what's below the surface of another person, it's that it's hard to see what's below your own surface. Sorry, this is kind of hard for me. To change these things, it's not enough to just change your labels. It's not enough to just change the category that you put yourself in. You have to take those things that are messy, that are below the surface, and you have to be okay with them. You have to embrace them, hug them, therapy them, talk them out. And sometimes you have to be quiet. Because it is okay. So every time you interact with someone, it changes you. Every time you interact with yourself, it changes you. And in order to be changed, you have to be willing to take that model that you've built and break it down into little bits and pieces and rebuild a new model. Because you're still all the same bits and pieces, but you don't ever have to be the same model. What would happen if you were to go home today and decide it wasn't important that you were right? It didn't matter that you were heard. It didn't matter if you got your way, but what mattered was that you won together. What would happen if you went to work tomorrow and decided that it wasn't important that you were in charge, that it didn't matter if everyone did what you wanted, that the only thing that mattered was that you won together? What would happen if you just woke up and decided to unmake yourself? That's it.